Hey everybody, I'm the old man. This is not a Mario Let's Play. What this is going to be is my favorite albums of 2015. Um, I've been making a lot of videos on YouTube. I thought, you know what might be fun? Do a video edition of my favorite picks of the year. I'm still going to do the text version on the blog, and then this video I'll just embed it right into the blog. So you'll see everything there. So if you're here on my normal YouTube channel, you've already seen kind of what I do here when I do one of these videos. This is going to be sort of a vlog thing, like the Christmas and Thanksgiving videos where I just talk about things and play so I don't have to be on camera. Excuse me. And if you're here watching this embedded in the actual post on the blog, I do Let's Plays. I go on YouTube and play games and talk rubbish about them. And so I figured I'd do something different. And so I have a lot of ground to cover. And figure I might as well get started. My favorite picks of the year. When I say they're my favorite picks, it's not stuff that necessarily came out this year. It's more stuff that I just acquired or discovered or whatever. It's not actually like I don't do like a best of releases of the year. So with that in mind, let's get started. My number one pick, and these aren't in any order. These are just five. I do five picks, and then I do 5 picks, and then I do 3 honorable mentions, and they're not in any order, so they're not like the top thing. So the first one is Marmozets, the Weird and Wonderful Marmozets. That actually came out in late 2014, and I got it for Christmas, and it pretty much just dominated the first part of the year there. Where I pretty much listened to almost nothing but that particular album. And it's alternative rock, sort of like Paramore, but like really chaotic and fierce, and definitely it's got balls. Like, I don't know any other way to put it. Like, it's got a female singer, and she's just brutal. Like, one of the most, she can sing, but she's brutal too. And it's just a great album with catchy songs and just a power behind it that's really hard to deny. It's really gets right up in your face and catches your attention. And I really liked that album, and I'm glad that my YouTube bot put their video on my feed, because I wouldn't have heard about them any other way. It should be available everywhere, easy to pick up. I would definitely say check that one out. Number 2 is a band called White Lighter. I became familiar with them through the lead singer Mark Solomon has a podcast called Never Was, and he uses the music in his album for the intros and outros and stuff like that. And I really liked that intro outro music, and I was like, well, what's that from? And it turns out it's from his band White Lighter, which also features I think Andy Prickett from the Prayer Chain, I want to say. And it's definitely it's alternative rock with sort of a mellow swagger about it, sort of in the vein of Black Sabbath. Mark Solomon definitely tries to emulate Ozzy in the album in his vocal stylings, and but the songs are actually really good, and just definitely a laid back sort of mellow vibe, and it's a really good album, and I listened to the heck out of it, still listen to it. And it's not available on CD, I don't think. It's only available on like, hey, you go in the hole. It's only available, I think, on like iTunes and then on vinyl. But definitely worth checking out. White Lighter, another pick of the year. Number 3 is Symphony X, Underworld. I love Symphony X. Bought Iconoclast twice because I just Hey, I forgot all about that stuttering. Bought Iconoclast twice because I liked it so much. So Underworld, not as heavy as Iconoclast, more along the lines of perhaps a little bit more like the Odyssey, but I think even a little bit, it has even maybe some more commercial aspects to it as well. And was one of the things that I actually liked about this release was it almost like some of the songs like Run with the Devil really have some radio friendly hooks to them, and I don't have a problem with that when it's progressive anything. I think that's great. So I think it overall makes the album a little bit more catchier and a little bit more accessible, and I don't think that's a bad thing. So I really like that album. It still retains all the heaviness from Iconoclast. Still very heavy despite the melody, which is good. Russell Allen does a great job on the vocals, as he usually does, and that should be available everywhere too, so you definitely want to check that out if you like that kind of music. Number 4 for the main picks, I Fight Dragons. This was a band I heard about from a guy called The Rock Critic. He has a YouTube channel where he reviews different stuff, and he reviewed their album, or it was on one of his picks or something, called The Near Future. The title of the album's called The Near Future from I Fight Dragons. And what they are is they're sort of a pop punk band that uses like Game Boy and Nintendo sounds and other sort of electronic things in there, and I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. And so I listened to a couple of their songs and I was like, wow, this is really good. And then I listened to the whole album and it was amazing. Very strong hooks, very great vocals. I don't know the guy's name. The vocals are outstanding. And it's a little bit, I mean, it's kind of progressive for being pop punk, because it's not just a it's not like Green Day, concept album. It's actually fairly progressive, and I really enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it. And some of the songs really resonated with me, like almost like on a personal, emotional level. Really got to me, and I really appreciated that. And so, and again, listen to that most of the spring. So that's definitely one of my biggest picks for 2015. I'm concentrating on throwing these blocks up here. Sometimes if you're not used to watching my YouTube videos, you're here because of the blog. Sometimes that happens. I'll be talking about something and then all of a sudden I'll react to something in the game, and excuse me, and then go back to what I was talking about. And then sometimes I just forget what I was talking about. But so I Fight Dragons, that's good. Also, if I said it's not available on CD, it's not available on CD, just vinyl. And I keep wanting to say wireless for some reason, but it's not wireless. It's it's like MP3 digital. Digital's the word I want, not wireless. Digital, available digitally. But definitely worth checking out, especially if you just like good, catchy pop songs, which is really what they are in essence. And I think it really works, and just love it. Can't say enough good things about it. And that was I think 4. Yeah, 4. Okay, 5. Last main pick is Queensryche's Human Condition. All I have to say is thank you, Todd La Torre. He is the new vocalist, and he does Jeff Tate better than Jeff Tate has done in... Oh, I knew I was going to die there. I can never make it through there in one shot. Todd La Torre does a better Jeff Tate than Jeff Tate has done in many a moon. And the band has obviously just been re-energized. The 2013 self-titled album was good. It was definitely light. Not a lot of substance to it, but this album definitely fixes that. It's a lot longer, the songs are more substantial, I think the hooks are more apparent. Overall, I think it's a really good album. I don't think it's quite classic. I need to remember to keep touching the thing because the computer doesn't think I'm doing anything. I don't think it's quite a classic, not yet, but I have hope that they will get there. They will make another classic. They will make another Mindcrime. They'll make another Rage for Order. I have no doubt of that now with Todd La Torre on there. And I think they've really taken a couple albums to kind of get their sea legs. And I think this one definitely is a huge improvement over the previous one. So I have nothing but high hopes for these guys, and I'm really, really looking forward to what they're going to do in the future. And like I just said, I just love Todd La Torre. His voice is fantastic. And I suspect that he will probably move away from the more Geoff Tate style as the band goes on, which is fine. As long as the songs are good, I don't mind at all. And so those are my 5 main picks. I have a hard time picking albums, especially for a list like this, and I had to limit myself to 5 because after a while I realized that I was just recapping everything that I had bought that year instead of actually picking the best of the best for my blog. But I do let myself have 3 honorable mentions, and those honorable mentions are Jerry Gaskill's Love and Scars. He's the drummer for King's X. And I have never been a huge fan of solo stuff from the guys from King's X. Doug Pinnick, Ty Tabor, none of their solo stuff has ever really done anything for me. But this is the first one that I absolutely loved, and it sounds like a genuine King's X record in a lot of spots. There's a lot of cool guest appearances. Phil Keaggy does the lead on it. And the songs are just, it sounds like a little bit more creative King's X. And I really, really enjoy it. Definitely fills the void for me since we haven't gotten a King's X album since 2008, I think was their last one. So definitely an honorable mention. And I really struggled with putting that one in the main 5. I did a lot of thinking, and I'm still not entirely sure I picked right. But that's why I'm making the video, so I can talk about it. Second honorable mention is Pentatonix. We're big Pentatonix fans at our house, and their new album with original songs on it is absolutely beautiful. And if you've heard me talk about Pentatonix before, you know that I love them, and I do think that this album is a little bit more pop, maybe, than I would like. I'd like to maybe back off a little bit of the pop aspect. And I think that one of the singers, the guy who looks like a Twilight vampire, Scott, I think is his name, he gets a little bit too much mic time. I think I would appreciate it if they all sort of more work together. Oh, whoa! Ah, poop. If they work together more a little bit like they do in the Christmas stuff. But still a great album, and my wife hasn't stopped listening to it since we got it. And it's a great album, and I'm looking forward to more of what they do. Last honorable mention is Coheed and Cambria, Color Before the Sun. I really like this. It's the first album they've done without a concept. Usually they've been doing the Amory. I'm not really sure how you pronounce it, but that's what they've been doing for the bulk of their career. Poop. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not opposed to that kind of thing at all. I do think that this is really it's the kind of album they were gonna have to make eventually. They were going to have to make an album without a concept. They were gonna have to do something that was a little bit lighter, a little bit I don't want to say less whiny, because they're not really whiny, but they're gonna have to do something that you just have to in order to grow as an artist. They can't make Amory Wars records forever, And I knew that at some point they were gonna be doing this album, and I think this is really the album they need to make right now. And it works for me. I don't think as a whole it's as strong as their concept ones, but I think some of the songs on these records are some of the best songs they've ever written. So I was kind of like wondering where that should be in my picks, but New Codeine and Cambria. I was worried after Year of the Black Rainbow, but then Afterman came out and I was fine. And this one, I'm fine. The band is going to be just fine, and I definitely look forward to the future of Coheed. And so that's it. Those are my picks. There's more stuff that came out. The new Iron Maiden was good. Lee Nash's solo album was good. There's a lot of other stuff that came out that I wish that I could talk about, but poop, went the wrong way. But I just don't have the time to talk about everything. But now for my disappointments. I have a couple of disappointments. And the first one is, if I can get down there and look at it, Tourniquet. Tourniquet / Ted Kirkpatrick, Onward to Freedom. I got this one for Christmas as well, and it's kind of... I love Tourniquet. I always have loved Tourniquet. And this is kind of it's a solo album, sort of, but the theme is it's sort of a concept album about animal rights, which is fine. The problem with this album, and the reason why I was so disappointed with it, is because the songs just aren't that good. They're not very memorable. They're not very good. They've got some good vocalists on it, certainly, but overall, I don't think the music is just very strong. I mean, it's Antiseptic Bloodbath, the Tourniquet's last record, was excellent. I loved it. But this album just not that good. And on top of that, the lyrics are extremely preachy and almost like they're written by a PETA representative. And I'm okay with, animal rights and all that, but I mean, these were just preachy and obnoxious to me. And so I just didn't do anything for me, and I was really disappointed because I was looking forward to it. And let me see. I lost my train of thought. Meghan Trainor. My wife, I heard her on the radio, and I liked, what's that song about butts? All About That Bass. And I liked Lips Are Moving, and my wife liked him too, and she's like, we should get that album. And then I have enough trouble not buying albums when, she's not interested. So when she says she's interested in something, I pretty much go buy it. And, so I went and bought it and listened to it, and you know what? It's a good album in terms of the hooks and in terms of the songs being catchy, and Meghan Trainor can definitely sing, and I like her voice. My problem with Meghan Trainor's album that drove me nuts was the lyrics. Oh my word. I understand having sort of a, men are no good song here and there, but as I've said in my review, the theme of the album seems to be, let's make bad decisions about men and then be mad and confused about the results. I mean, it was just very disappointing because she wants to act like she's the strong, independent woman, when in reality, she's kind of a mess. Well, and I won't say her because I don't know her. Obviously, I don't know her. But the person in the songs is a mess. And, oh, crud. Oh, crud. The person in the songs is a mess. And, that was very disappointing. And so, do I have to go in there and get the key again? Yes, I do. So, that, and it hurt my enjoyment of it because I was hoping for a little bit more smarts, I guess. I know that's weird of me to say, but I just, too much of this one night stand, and then I'm mad because that for somehow that one night stand didn't turn into love. I'm confused. Anyway, just very disappointed. I've rambled on about that enough. Another disappointment is The Gentle Storm, The Diary. It's Arjen Lucassen. What did I do there? My word. Arjen Lucassen from Arion and Star One and Guilt Machine and is what Arion is one of my favorite bands, and Star One is one of my favorite bands, and Annika Van, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, but I think it's Annika Van Giersbergen, I think. Probably butchered that. She's one of my favorite vocalists, especially on the Arion albums. And so when I heard they were getting together to do an album, I was like, oh man. And then I heard it was going to be like Celtic, sort of, folky Celtic inspired rock. I was like, oh my word, that's going to be awesome. And looked forward to it and got it and then listened to it, and I was like, because the thing is that it's not bad. Not a bad album. It just didn't do anything for me for whatever reason. Like, I didn't find myself wanting to go back to it. I didn't find the songs particularly, compelling. And that was really disappointing, because usually an Arion or anything from Arjen Lucassen, just like Arjen Lucassen. Usually anything like that stays on the iPhone and on the iPod forever. So like I said, I was kind of disappointed, and but it happens. He's one of those that if I don't like something, it's all right. I just move on, and I'm sure I'll like the next thing. And finally, the last disappointment of this year was, and this is it's one of those disappointments that like everybody has been disappointed with, and I just didn't listen. But it's Atomic Opera, Gospel Cola. I listened to their album, can't remember when, and I didn't like it at first, and then their debut album, For Mad Men Only, this is what I'm talking about. And I didn't like it at first, and then I listened to it again years later, and I actually loved it. I don't know how that works. But, poop. And so I was like, you know what, I'll check out more of their stuff. And everybody was saying that Gospel Cola was not a very good album. It was very mediocre, and I was like, well, you know what, I'll be the judge of that. So I got it, and holy crap, is it mediocre. It is as mediocre as everybody says it is. And that there's nothing bad about it, there's just nothing fantastic about it. There's nothing, all the songs are merely okay. Nothing is really great. And that's almost worse than it being bad, in my opinion. I'm going to see if I can't go down and find out where the mushroom is. That's almost worse than being bad. I would rather the album be bad than it just be mediocre. So that was the last of the disappointments. So how many? That's 4 disappointments. Not terrible. And that's it. That's pretty much my year in review. Next year, I'm going to be doing something different that I hope is going to be really fun. I've noticed that I tend to... I find bands and then like just sort of explore their discography. I think this year I did... Is there really not a... I did... What did I do? I did Beastie Boys. I listened to the Beastie Boys. I think the year before that I did Tom Petty. Sorry about that. I was looking at the game. So this year I think I'm gonna take that sort of thing that I normally do anyway and run with it. And I'm gonna pick one band and like really explore. There is no mushroom in here. And really explore their discography. And the band I've chosen for this year is Genesis. So I'm doing what I'm calling the Genesis Project. Every month, I'm going to get one of their albums from their huge history of albums. I'm just going to pick one and listen to it, and then I'll review it. And then at the end of the year, I'll do a write-up and maybe a video to see how did I like them. Am I a fan of Genesis? Am I not a fan? Did Phil Collins really ruin Genesis? I don't think he did. Spoiler alert. I haven't actually listened, but I find that hard to believe. And you know what? I like pop music and I like progressive music, so I won't be like, oh, this isn't progressive, I hate it. And I like Phil Collins and I like Peter Gabriel, so hopefully I won't be biased about that. But I'm looking forward to that. I think the first album I'm going to do is Duke. I'm not sure. But that will be fun. I'll start that in January. Probably the end of January is when that first review of Genesis will come. And then I'll be doing regular reviews too, because I can't just not get reviews. But I am going to stick to 3 reviews a month, I think. I used to try to do 5, but that's a little bit much these days. So I'm probably going to be doing 3 a month, and that's 3 posts a month. I'm going to try to stick to that. And that's it. That's my year in review. I hope you enjoyed this video edition of Super Mario Bros. 2 / talking about music. Trust me, you don't want to see me just sitting in my kitchen with my iPhone doing a video. That's no bueno. I'll see you around. If you if you're here on my YouTube channel, be sure to visit my music blog. It's adamipodreviews.blogspot.com. I will put a link. I usually don't put links, but I will put a link in the description this time, as well as maybe some links for the stuff that I talked about. Certainly the podcast I should put a link for, and maybe it's the bands? I don't know. Well, definitely my blog. I'll definitely promote myself before anything else. And if you're here from the blog, check out my YouTube channel. It's the Old Man 2084, and that is if you like video games, because I pretty much just do video games. And I'll see you around. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like the video. Visit the blog and follow the blog, and I'll see you around.